Welcome to another edition of Integral Designs videos. Today we will be demonstrating the setup of the Siltunnel Shelter here in the beautiful Canadian Rockies.
Hi, my name is Joshua Lavigne and I work with Integral Designs. Today I will be demonstrating the setup of the Siltunnel Shelter. So here we are. This is the Siltunnel Shelter in its package. The Siltunnel weighs 1,500 grams. So just under 4 pounds, and it comes with a stuff sack, 3 poles on the inside, and then the shelter with some cords. It's made for 4 people. You can sit up to 8 people in it, and it takes only a couple minutes to set up. So why don't we do that and see what it looks like. So the first thing that I'm going to do is set out an area that I'm going to set up the shelter on. So I have a very low snowpack here, so it might be hard to anchor the shelter, but what I'm going to do is mark out an area and then stomp it down so it's nice and secure and I can put the shelter on top of it. Okay, so as you can see, I've set up an area that's large enough to fit the shelter over. It's about 180 centimeters wide, so that would be about 6 feet. And then its length's about 8 feet, so it's quite long. Even 12 feet for the vestibules on the edge of the shelter would be good. So let me get my skis off, I'll lay the shelter out, and we can see how it looks. What I'm going to be doing here is I anchored the shelter into the snow. So the snow is quite thin here, but we'll make it work. I have anchored only one end, and what I'm going to do next is place all of the poles inside the shelter. Here are the poles. What I do is I just take one pole, start putting all its individual sections in. Once all the individual sections are in for the whole pole, I'll just do all 3 of them and then start putting them into the tent. So I take the pole, stick it into the pole sleeve, push all the way through. So now I've finished putting the poles into all of the sleeves in the shelter. So what I've done is attached the one end into the snow. Now what I do is I just pick up the other end of the shelter. So this would be the other end here. I find an anchor that I'm going to use. Here I'm going to use another ski, and I just pull the shelter up. So here what I've done is I've clipped all of the bottom straps together and put all the poles into the sleeves. By pulling it tight and threading my anchor, putting my anchor into the snow, I now have the Siltunnel Shelter with only 2 anchors fully set up, and you can start going inside. Now that I've set it up so that both ends are pulled out and tied out, I'm going to tie down the 6 corner edges. So they come out, I want to stake them down to hold the shelter down, but also so I can unclip the interior straps that I have to make more room on the inside. So I'll just finish off by pegging down the 6 corners, and then we'll go inside. Now that I've finished pegging out the 6 side ties, I'm going to start unclipping the interior buckles that go underneath where the floor would be. Once I unclip those, I can dig out a center trench and benches where we can sit. The snowpack today here isn't quite deep enough for me to do that, but I'd still like to show you inside how much space you have for sleeping 4 people. So on the inside here, I'm going to unclip all of the buckles that go across the bottom. So now that I've unclipped all of the straps along the bottom, I can easily create a lot of interior space by digging down. So what I'll do today is dig down just a little bit to show you how much more space we can create. If there was more snow, we'd be able to dig down probably about 5-6 feet, making an interior space of up to 8 feet tall. Once you've done that and created such interior space, you can put benches all along the side. So on the inside here, as you can see, I have lots of room to kneel. I can sleep 2 people on this side, 2 people on this side. I have gear storage at both ends of the shelter, and there's lots of room to dig down. If you are going to sleep overnight, or you have a large group and you want to create more airflow, you don't necessarily have to open up the zippers. You can open up the vestibules up top to open them up on each side to create more airflow. I'm glad you could join me to set up the Siltunnel Shelter, and I hope that this video was helpful. My name is Joshua Lavigne, and this was another Integral Designs Videos.